I'm telling you, kids these days. That's right. Welcome back to the Steve Gruber Show as we light the fuse on another explosive hour of the program. I'm going to yank that leash a little bit harder today. I mean, what else am I going to do to get these people in line? Welcome back to it here, live from the heart of America in Studio G. I'm fighting for you every single day from the foxhole of freedom and defending this great nation. Here are three big things you need to know this hour. Number one, J.D. Vance. Hillbilly Elegy, that guy, our vice president, will be in Michigan, Bay City on Friday. I'll tell you about that. Number two, Michigan's future is on the line as Republicans brace for an epic 2026 election battle. We'll get to that. And number three, this is a shocking story. Comes from Michigan News Source. My news team at Michigan News Source has found a jaw-dropping story. 7% of the students in Detroit public schools are considered homeless. Detroit Public Schools Community District identified 218 students as being unaccompanied, 3,207 as being flat out homeless. District has 49,000 students, give or take, for the 24-25 school year. Yeah. It's remarkable. 7%. Can you imagine that? The district has an Office of Homeless and Foster Care that works with homeless students and their families. During school hours, the school district responds to calls from its homeless office to transport homeless students and their families to shelters or another designated safe place and a safe space. 7% of the kids going to school, K through 12 in Detroit, are homeless. Nice job, Governor. Really a bang-up job. Wayne State University conducted a study in 2023 that claimed that Detroit schools undercounted the number of students who were homeless. That study found between 11 and 16% of Detroit students faced homelessness or housing instability from 2021 to 22, but 75% of those kids were not actually identified as being homeless at the time. Part of the problem, the study stated, was that parents hid the issue because they didn't want the stigma. Now, I get that. They're living in their car. They're living in a tent somewhere around the corner. They don't want the stigma of being homeless. Oh, you're that homeless kid. I mean, I get that. Parents defending their children. Other negative consequences of their housing situation was also concerning. In 21-22, the district reported 4% of their students were homeless. That's almost doubled if this is to be believed. The federal McKinney-Vento Homeless Assistance Act requires public school districts to identify homeless students and ensure they're aware of the resources available to them. This is one of the most concerning things that I have seen in a long time. 7% of kids in Detroit schools are homeless. I wonder what the number is statewide. You know, what is the number statewide? Yeah, I just need to do something here real quick as I look at this. Just making a little adjustment here. There we go. Thank you very much. All right, so Vice President Vance is going to make a stop in Bay City, not far from Detroit. Let's see. He'll be visiting Bay City tomorrow, according to the White House press release. Vice President Vance and Kelly Loeffler, who is the Small Business Administration Director, will travel to Bay City and tour Vantage Plastics. According to the company website, Vantage Plastics is a full-circle plastics processor, and the company is pleased to host the tour. After the tour, the VP and the administrator will deliver remarks highlighting America's industrial resurgence. Of course, Michigan gave both Vance and President Trump its seal of approval November 5 when the state's 15 electoral votes turned red. So J.D. Vance coming to Michigan. Look, Michigan's going to be pivotal. And I want to talk a little bit about this. Why are the Democrats running? Now, Jean Shaheen, all right, is 78. I was surprised. I thought she was younger than that. She looks great. She's the senator, former governor of New Hampshire. She said, I'm not running again. She'll be 80 when the election comes up in 2026. And this means that New Hampshire is up for grabs. And the former governor, the Republican former governor, Chris Sununu, if he runs for that seat, he will win that seat for the Republicans. That'll be a big flip for the Republicans. If he runs for it, he'll win it. That would give the Republicans 54 seats in the Senate. Now, consider that Michigan is up for grabs. I don't know who's going to run for the seat. We've heard some conversation about it. Pete Buttigieg announcing that he will not run for the Senate seat on the Democrat side here in Michigan, because those are the reports. Those are the reports. And so that means he's out because he wants to run for president. So he's out. So what's going to happen in Michigan? So if you have 54 with, I'm going to say Sununu's going to run. Chris Sununu's going to run. And that gives you 54 seats in the Senate. If Michigan tips red, which it could, you get a good candidate there. The Democrats, who are they going to run for the U.S. Senate seat? Because it's very likely that the Whitmer hangover is going to extend into the race for governor, meaning I believe at this point in the conversation, whoever wins the nomination to be the Republican candidate for governor in Michigan will be the next governor in Michigan. If you win the primary, if you become the candidate for the GOP, you will be the governor. That's what I strongly believe. And because of the strength of that push, I believe that Michigan has the best chance it's had. I actually thought Mike Rogers had it in the bag. I never thought that Alyssa Slotkin would win. I'm still confused about that race. That Donald Trump wins the state by what, 100,000 votes, and Alyssa Slotkin wins her Senate seat by 18,000 votes. Seems a little bit, a bit of a stretch, but hey, that's what the official record shows. So we're going to go with that. But it means that the seat being vacated by Debbie Stabenow, not by Debbie Stabenow, but by Gary Peters, is up for grabs, right? So that would give the Republicans 55 seats. And then you go over to Minnesota, Tina Smith. And here's what's weird about this. Gary Peters is 66, right? Tina Smith is 67. These are very young people by comparison to not be running for the Senate seat again. What do they know that we don't? And Jeanne Shaheen, to be fair, lots of senators stay into their 80s. Chuck Grassley's 90 or older, right? Maybe she's just doing the right thing. Okay, she's passing the torch. Anyhow, 50, that would bring us to 56 Senate seats for the Republicans. That becomes pretty formidable. Pretty important when it comes to things like, I don't know, seats in the United States Supreme Court, for example. Pretty important stuff. I'm going to take a break. I'll be right back on the Steve Gruber Show.
Now hiring?